Well, for the first of our pirate profiles this year, we're going to focus on a young man that's taken not just Poole by storm, but the UK by storm. Antonio Lindback, at 19 years of age, and just celebrated your 19th birthday. The Speedway world has been absolutely overcome with your success.
Yeah, this year has opened really good for me. I don't know why, but I have tried some new engines to this year, and I have a new mechanic here in England who works really good for me, and I love to ride in this club. They are very kind to me, and everything is really good here.
I couldn't resist choosing you really as our first profile this year, because I know your story is a very colourful one, if you'll pardon the expression, because of course we all know now that you were originally born in Rio de Janeiro, and yet you're a naturalised Swede, and Sweden is now your home, and now you're over here in the UK. But to begin with, let's just talk a little bit about going right back, and the fact that you were born in Rio de Janeiro, and you were adopted at the age of 3.5 or 3 years.
Yeah, there was. I was born out with a scene in Rio de Janeiro. It's a really nice country to live in. And when I was one and a half year, I moved to a children's home in São Paulo. I was in São Paulo on the children's home for just 1.5, 2 years. And when I was 3 years, my Swedish parents came to adopt me. So, but we was. They had to stay in Brazil for a half year with me, so everything was okay. And when I was 3.5 years, we can move to Sweden. So then I come to Sweden.
It's obviously been a very happy affair, because you still live with those parents right now, even.
Yeah, I live with them now. Like to be there. They are very nice to me, and they have started to be my real family. Take care of me for all my life. So I don't feel any different to be with them or to be with some other family.
The interesting thing as well is that perhaps if they hadn't been your adopted parents, you may never have found Speedway, because it was actually your mother that introduced you to Speedway.
Yeah, that was pretty weird to think like that. I think if I stayed in Brazil, what's happened then? But I had lucky to come here to these parents. They have good job, both of them. So, but I think if I not have stayed with them, I don't think I have rode Speedway today.
Now, you lived in Avesta, which is, of course, the home of Massana, where you race now. And I believe it was actually at Avesta and the Massana Club where you first saw Speedway for the very first time, when your mother took you along.
Yeah, that was the first time. When I was 11, I started to drive Speedway, and but I have never been interested about some motorsport before that. So I think the first time I looked at Speedway meeting was when I was 11.5 or something like that. It was not early.
Can you remember what it was that made you think, even though you hadn't been interested in motorcycling, what it was that made you think, I'll have a go at that?
There was my mom is a teacher in school, and she has a class who want to go out and try on Speedway. And I asked if I could come with them, so she said yes, and I come with them. I tried the 80cc, a small Speedway bike. So fun. So after that, try a little more. After that, I want to have one own, and started to go on meetings and that. So it was on that way I started to ride.
Now, when you first were riding, and your sort of early days there, people such as Tony Ricardson, who later became a big influence on you, they weren't there. Can you remember any of the riders that you grew up with and began to perhaps admire, who you were watching then in the big leagues then?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. I was so small, and so much interest was not in Speedway. I just want to ride. I thought that was fun. So the people who was around me, or the people who was around on that time and in Mars, and I don't remember anything about that. I have started on last year, maybe I started to think about the name on the Speedway riders and that. So I cannot answer who I rode with them.
I guess the people that influenced you now, or then, were the people that are influencing you now, such as Tony and Lee Adams.
Of course, Tony and Lee Adams is really big people for me, and I'm looking up to them really much. They are special. Tony, like he is in the pit and on the track and everything around him. Lee with his driving style, like he drives like he is like a person, special in the elite league and yeah, in the team, what do you call that?
The team spirit?
Yes, team spirit. He's so good in that, and he helps the other rider out on the track really good. So I look at very much about him on that way. So
it was very much Lee's influence on you that brought you to England, and I guess there must have been a point when you thought you'd really like to come to England, and that presumably was the first time you'd seen the UK.
Yeah, it was the first time. Last year when I come over here, it was the first time I was in England in all my life. No, it was fun to come over here. I just come over here for the UK Speedway is so important to come to ride here, for there are very special tracks here, like I said, very special tracks. So I think they were very important to come here, go on this track. Can you go on this track? You can go on nearly every tracks. So for me, it was a good thing to come here.
I guess as well, the great thing was that you were already experienced with riding with Lee and Tony and Massana. So it was almost like home from home, because last year, of course, Lee and Tony were right here too.
Yeah, it was very special to ride with them in Sweden. I know how it works, both of them. I know them like person they are. So it was very nice to come here and ride in the same club like I do in Sweden. So I think there was a help for me to come over here.
Difficult question now. What was it like for a young man like yourself to come over and see the UK for the first time? Obviously, you've got a great deal of experience of your home in Sweden. Not so much memory of Brazil, but to come to the UK for the first time, what was your impressions of the UK?
I thought the country is nice. The people I met when I come here was very nice to me. I have not been so much in the UK and looked, but in Poole it was very nice to come to. I had very difficult with the language. I have the still little now, but started to be better. But I didn't think so much about that. If I need some help, I could go to Tony or someone like them and ask them to help me. So I think I have pretty easy to come over here because I have Tony and Leahy in the same team. So, but of course it was hard to come over to a new country and start a new team here. So yeah.
It must have been very exciting then, because when you did make your debut, had that incredible performance, paid 18 points and a record-breaking opening for Poole. Was that exciting, and was that actually hard to live up to after that?
They were very hard to live up to that after to come over here and ride to this team we rode on that. It was not so, if I can say like, there was not so good riders then.
Yes.
They had, I don't know if they had a tough day or something like that, but I rode on Lee's bike, and Lee's bike working out really good, and always the first time I come over to track, they were very special, and I had a really good day then. But after that it was very hard to come back here. No, they were very hard to do the same thing again. So yes, it was very hard to live up to that again. It was.
I've got to say though, you've been very successful in doing that, and wherever you've gone, you seem to have picked up these tracks very quickly. You've adapted very quickly, and that's a quality which not a lot of riders show, and you've shown that right from the outset.
Yeah, I like to ride on small, hard tracks. I want to fight with the bikes, and so I like the small tracks here in England. But of course, to come to a new track is really hard to find the right setups and find how you should go on the tracks, which line you should take and everything that. But I have much help with Tony and Leahy there too to help me and say what I should put onto the bikes and where I must go on the tracks and that. So of course I have them to thank very much.
You couldn't have better tutors in that respect. Now, this year, and focusing on the year coming and what you've already achieved, it's been fantastic. We've just heard tonight that you've got 4 more meetings left in the reserve, and then the daunting prospect, perhaps, of joining the heat leaders. How about that?
Yeah, my goal was to go up on the real team, but of course I'll go much faster, was I think, but I just take it like that is, and I didn't know I could come to go up to heat leader, but that's life.
Well, that goes along with everything I know about you, because every time I see you, you're very laid back about the way that you approach it. And I think that's possibly an advantage, because you have that sort of relaxed attitude about your racing, and you just really love it. And I've got to say as well, perhaps on a final note, your sense of fun around the pits is very noticeable. Where does that come from? Because you just enjoy yourself and you have that sense which is able to infiltrate the rest of the riders as well.
I think that one coming from my mom. I don't know. I like to meet new people. I like to laugh. I like to have fun. I must be myself. If I'm not myself, I cannot do the best score. So I'm just myself and have fun. There I am.
Well, we've enjoyed watching that, and thanks for talking to us today and revealing a little bit more about yourself. It's been fascinating. Great to talk to you, and we wish you every success. Really mean that.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, it's certainly good to hear from Antonio, the first of our pirate profiles in 2004. Look out for the others coming your way, but for now, that just about wraps up this edition. And I've got to say, Graham, once again, another action-packed edition on Pirate Videos, full of incident, and certainly last week we saw incident, and again this week, Pirates really had to work for it, didn't they?
They certainly did. I think we've just seen Peterborough put up a superb display here, and it just shows how tough it is. They're not one of the challenging teams right at the top of the table at the moment, but there are no easy matches in this Elite League this year, as we've seen here with a succession of close and exciting matches. The highlight of this edition, I think, undoubtedly the race with Magnus Zetterström and Lee Adams, but lots of good speedway, and the Pirates still at the top of the table.
Well, I've got to say that I fancied Peterborough right from the start, and I'd have to say with their track experience here at Poole, I always did think that it was going to be a close match, and I was disappointed last time they came that it didn't put up a better fight.
That's right, but they made amends for that tonight, and all the old Pirates, particularly Lucas Drimmel, who's a different rider from the one who appeared here in the Knockout Cup, and he showed how excited he was about winning over his old teammates here, and I think that made all the difference. So all in all, good racing tonight and good racing throughout the three matches we're featuring in this volume.
Well, indeed, and we spoke to Mick Horton a few minutes before the start, and he was aiming to hope that the Pirates would only win by 10 tonight, so he's got all his presents at once, as it were, because a 3-point defeat to Peterborough will be certainly more than he was anticipating this evening, and it is going to make it hard for the Pirates up at the showground to pull off that bonus point. But enough about tonight. Let's think about our next edition now. That's coming up, of course, after this, so keep buying the Pirate videos, keep watching, but from now, from Graham, from me and from Rob, a very good evening.